Hello, welcome back to another KHS video. Today, I wanted to talk about chess notation, which is very important. Like, especially if you are a beginner or intermediate chess player, you may have seen people talk about, let's say, online chess blogs, chess.com posts, YouTube videos, books, in person, wherever I've seen chess in whatever capacity. And basically, let's say like a pawn, right, moves from d2 to not d5, but let's say d2, d4, then you would indicate that by writing just d4. And this actually follows for any piece, no matter what piece you pick. If it's a king, you denote this by saying king to e3, bishop goes to bishop goes to c3, rook to f4, right, queen g5, knight to b4, right? And let's say, because this knight n uh is kind of the phonetic spelling, so we use n there, as well as the fact that like k is reserved for the king. That's why you start this letter off by saying by n. And similarly, the bishop b, and then our rook q is for the queen. And it's very important for you to capitalize that letter, right? Because bishop b2 has two b's in it. You don't want it to be confusing, but you don't really have to. That's just like a very picky thing. Something very important also is if the pawn ends up all the way down the board, right? And you promote on d8, you would write d8, but you also have to indicate d8 equals, and then you would write what piece it promotes. So if it promotes to a queen, you would write d8 equals queen. And let's suppose you have basically a situation where you haven't castled, right? Then this, uh, oh, my bad. Then right here, this kind of castling situation is denoted by two O's with a dash in the middle, kind of indicating the fact that the rook travels two squares. Similarly, if you have a castle here, then the rook traveled three squares, so that's three castling. That's a queenside castle, and you have three circles to represent that. Now, there's also the ambiguity presented by the fact that one piece can move to, or two pieces can move to the same square, right? In this case, that can happen, or in this case, the queens can also go the same square, right? Here, you would write the file, right? So queen on g file went to g8, so qg g8. In this case, since let's say like what if both of them were on the same file, right? Then in this case, you would use the numbering system here. So knight 4 to b5. And that covers the ambiguity situation. However, there's also the fact that, like, let's say we have an en passant capture, right? The en passant capture is special because you still write g takes f6, even though you don't really take a pawn there. And the way you write a capture, let's say, is a bishop on c6 and a pawn on f3, then this bishop takes whatever's on f3's, bishop takes f3, right? And again, that means this situation is a little bit more unique because you still write the ending square instead of the captured square, right? Now, whenever there is a check, let's say, right, bishop moves to f4, and that move is a check, so you write bishop f4 plus, that's a check. And if somehow, you also have a mate, kind of like so. I'm just gonna set up a quick mate here, where let's say knight moves to g3, right? Knight g3 is not just a check; it's a mate. So you would write knight to g3 mate with a distinction by the hashtag. Um, so now, since all those kind of cover the more basic facts, you can also have kind of like a situation where you take and that causes a check, right? Or that causes a checkmate. So like imagine if exact same situation over, oh, my bad. Actually, wait. what I showed you wasn't even a checkmate, was it? I think something simpler would be to move this. So again, this is a checkmate, right? So knight to b3, knight to b3, checkmate. Now, if you have, let's say, like a pawn or something here, right? Then you would have to distinguish this by saying knight takes b3, and that's a checkmate. So knight takes b3, knight takes whatever's on b3, and that move is a checkmate. And you would indicate that by hashtag. And this is just some simple chess advice, and hopefully this helped you with you know learning a little bit more about the notation, getting a basic idea of that down in a really quick video, and hopefully that helped.